I have the disc brakes backing plates installed. Now we're going to move on to the calipers. There's all my nice new calipers, and I've already sandblasted and painted some of the hardware. Bolts are all done. Now I have to disassemble these. It's a little bit complex. So I'm going to clean these up real good again. No real rust. And I'm just going to clean them up, paint them, reassemble them. I did notice that the factory replacement, this looks pretty good. There's a replacement line for this, but I don't know about this. Look at that. That doesn't. So I'm a little concerned why it's shaped like that. And there's no right or left, they're the same. Over here it's been replaced once. So we know that's not original. Selling point was supposed to be, this guy said, oh, I had a complete brake job. My father had a complete brake job done on it. Then, as I said, I did a real thorough restoration of the rear brakes when I got the vehicle. They were seized right up. So he was actually driving it with just the front disc. Flipping it over and see that not only is complete brake, you only replaced one side of the front, not the other. So what a skank. That's pretty. I felt so bad with this car. The car was actually worth maybe 8 to 10 grand. I paid $12 for it. He wouldn't budge. But a low production vehicle, if you're searching for one, it's hard to find one enough of any kind of vehicle. I figured the money I saved, not traveling all over the country trying to find one. So I paid the price, and I'm still happy with it. Okay, well, we're going to get everything all cleaned up and hopefully put that back together. All right, there's everything all nice and neat. Got to clean all this stuff up. And I've always preached, in any special interest vehicle you're seeking, it's most important to find one with a pretty straight body that's not rusted. In this car, fiberglass isn't damaged. And the undercarriage is pretty clean and not rotted, frame and whatnot. Secondary is mechanical stuff. That you can deal with. But I've done a lot of fabricating on bodies, and by the time you get on welding, and even my old LaSalle I even did that with lead back when I was younger. Most important, a vehicle that's pretty good shape as far as the body and undercarriage. Here's the rotors, which I'm quite proud of. Washed them all up real good with gas. Sandblasted them. Look at that, huh? Ooh. And, didn't put any primer. I put a light coat of primer on here so they wouldn't rust, but I see the backside still looks good. Isn't that nice? And I repacked. I got the bearings. I rewashed them with gas and repack them. They're in pretty good shape. So I'm not going to do anything with those. I've been down to do the Avanti and Woods several times. Not only has it been a good source of reference, mine came with a bracket here for the heater hose, which was this one piece here. Though it's homemade, the guy did a pretty good job. You can put some little rubbers in here to protect the hoses. I knew it did a nice homemade job, but we definitely aren't going to use that. But then the 63, the Avanti in the Woods. So these holes, 63 Avanti in the Woods, had this piece on, and they got a hole drilled right here. But the one in the Woods did not have holes here, and this one here does not have a hole from over there. And I shouldn't carry on too much about that, except for I think a lot of original pictures show the line. There's somehow it was connected passed through this area, as I recall, and there was some kind of a bracket in this area. But I'm going to go with I like to route it this way. I think that was a good thing. I am going to do this bracket I found on the Avanti in the Woods. That's respectable. I don't know if that's even homemade or not. Looks like it might have came off another vehicle. And then there again, look at it, to show you how that car was treated toward the end of its life. We should point this out here. Look at this bolt right here. Focus there. Look at, they used a square-headed bolt. Then they put another nut in there for a spacer. So you can tell right away what kind of treatment vehicles have had prior to your ownership by that detail alone. And over here, if you can see it, my front pulley, there it is. I went to hardware and got some more, I got a little bit longer hardened 5/16 bolts. I feel comfortable with those. getting ready. Can't put the shroud and fan on yet till we really finish up on the fuel pump, and it makes it more accessible to get the power steering unit and alternator. So a little cool as we get it back together. But we got to get back. I want to get my brakes. That's been something I've been avoiding. Over here, the fuel pump. I can explain this one to you. Here's the original one on the Avanti in the woods. Here's my old, the one that was on this vehicle we're working on right now. See, somebody's cut the pipes off here, but chopped that off, and they had a rubber hose. This is looks like the original one. Yahoo! I'm excited about that. And I noticed the fittings here. It looks here. Look at they when you get the like my new one that's on the car, they come with this fitting there. So I thought that was original. I just screwed this on, but so that's cool. So I'm going to take this off. I already loosened it. See that it's loose. It's the same thread here, and it goes right into that. So it must be. That's a universal. I don't know. We'll look into that. And then here again, look at somebody has got a fitting here with a brass pipe that's cut off. See that? All that. Now this one here, look at that's nice. See, just one oval. That's the original. I would, in my opinion, that's the. So that's exciting because I'm going to put this all back the way it should be on the car. We're going to save all this and put it on the back in the Avanti in the woods. There's one motor mount I can clean up and paint it. That's going back to Avanti in the woods. This bracket, because somebody might restore that someday. I ended up getting 2 gas pedals. I forgot that I ordered one last year. So that's going to go with Avanti in the woods. I'm going to put the bolts back into the water pump. As I say, I think these were the original. There's only 3. This was the right length, but I don't know the whole story on that. And back to the brakes. This is the passenger side. Everything all ready here. So I reference myself to this one here. I'll put this all back together. And there's our new pads. There again, I'm going to paint these brake lines, the calipers. I'm going to paint them. Get everything all assembled. And then I will hit them. I'm going to hit them with mix up some clear with hardener because I have some other should do the oil pan at the same time. Clear that. Eventually, we're going to bring the Avanti up from the Avanti in the woods up here and give her a good cleaning out the interior. So actually got mold on it. It looks in good shape. Put it in preservation mode. So it's like Christmas. Every time I look at this old box, I find different. Unfortunately, this was in the trunk, I think. Okay, we got that. That's cool. Look at here with the guy, look at here, it's got a fuel pump rebuild kit. Isn't that nice? Even though we aren't going to mess with it. It's all there. Oh, look at this. Friggin' lenses, the front. We'll get into that later, which I think is a little hokey. Look at the whole box of, the guy bought brand new lugs and bolts. Look at it, a little rusty. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Mine do need. Look at these. Got the little Studebaker emblems on them. What else is in here? Look at that. There you go. There's bunch around the side. I don't think they were that tough to take off the car, but we're going to do them. See, look, there's another set of them there. If they're new too or not. What else? Come on, baby. What else we got in here? Oh, it's got a little, we ordered this thing here for the turn signal. This here. Look at nice. Look at that. Brand new. I want to stick with the original, but they're in a rough shape, replace them. And save the old ones and pack them away. And later on you'll see, yes, he had some pieces chromed for it too. The valve covers and the air cleaner was re-chromed. I did notice that my original air cleaner was the original because it was more of a satin chrome, as I've read. And then, but he cut a chunk out of it. I'll show you that later on when we get more detailed on the engine. But the one he had, I like the re-chromed one. It at least doesn't have a chunk cut out of it. Here's another really cool thing. I was like, I knew it as soon as I saw it. For the mirror, see this? Brand new. And so I got to show you what I'm talking about. Let me shut this down. I just had to point this out. I drove the car for a little while. Look at this. They got a little hose clamp on this side and a little hose clamp on that. Now, is that tacky or what? But I was going to address that when we got the car running again. But now I found that it's got a brand new replacement piece, so I can't wait to see what that's all about. And I will still use this unless those threads are stripped. I'm going to try to use most of this original hardware if I can. If not, we have a new one. So that was pretty cool. Most of the hardware and bolts were pretty good shape on the front disc brakes, but some of them were kind of rusty. And I hate to waste, so they're already been soaking. I don't like to waste my acid. So the toilet's already clean pretty good. So I come up with this brainchild idea. Look, I put acid on there, just in case I forget. I tell you the acid, boy, don't want inhale. It won't burn your skin, but boy, if you get it on just a little bit of a scratch or an open wound, you'll feel it. So I kind of like wearing gloves. All right, I'm gonna rinse pretty good. Use the lid before. Use your hands now. And I'm going to try to dump them out here. Here. I'm going to have to break this jar to get the things out of it. Look at it. I just had to point out again, look how nice these items come out. I've dried them, I wire brushed them, getting them ready for paint. See how it gets, oh nice, see it gets all the little pits out. That's nice. Highly recommend muriatic acid. I was inventorying and going through the parts that were in that cardboard box that came out of the Avanti in the woods. Look, here's a couple of new headlight rubber rings, which I've already ordered and purchased. The flexible line, nice shape. I would have used it, but that was from the rear end up to the body, which I already ordered and have. Let's see, I did fix up the boxes and re-taped them off because I got the part numbers on them. The fuel pump thing, which I'll never use. Probably the gaskets are too old anyhow. And I opened up this jar here, thinking, what's this big deal, stock number, whatever. Only like opening up some a special Christmas gift. Look at all it is 2 bulbs. Look at it, 2 brand new bulbs from wherever these came from. What's in the other one here? I'm pretty sure it's the same thing. Another bulb, but we can use those, I guess. Then I was about ready to dispose of the box. And then on the side of the box, I see this. Avanti parts. And it says Howard with a comma, George. And that number 45532, I don't know what that means. Actually, I just magic markered those, thinking, oh, I'll throw them in there. But then, so yes, I got I will save that. So then I got the tote. So I go, there's what we'll do. Avanti 63R 3956. And I believe it would be George Howard, not Howard George. So that's the individual that purchased a lot of these parts, didn't so much do a restoration, but gather up a lot of the parts he was going to be needing for the restoration. So there you go, Howard. Your little legacy lives on, even though you never drove it. And so we're just going to refer to the car as Howard now, so that makes it a little easier. And another little tidbit here for Avanti guys. This is mine of my early 63 Avanti. This is one off of Howard's later 63 Avanti. So for the real Avanti enthusiast, there's see the difference in the different style windshield washer bags. Of course, I don't see much. I'm going to stay with my original, just because the other one isn't much better. To the real die-hard original restoration individuals out there, like my Corvette, they try to get the original absolute from the factory parts on them. So I'm going to point this out to you. This is the fuel pump that came off, number 803, 63 Studebaker. This is off of mine. I think I showed you before. Somebody went ahead and cut the line off. Fortunately, Howard has original. That's cool. I got that. And then this little ugly fit in here was on mine. And Howard had the original, which I've already put on. The new replacement for this is on the car with the fittings. Only other thing I noticed was the replacement one is exactly like the one that came off of number 803 63 Studebaker. And I did notice this. See, they had this little fitting on there, which is like on my replacement one. I believe this one here that was on Howard is the original from the car because see the size thread right here? See, that will screw in there. Oh, cool. But I went to put on my replacement one. It has a much bigger bore here. See that? I think you can see. So that's why it has this fitting. So I just had to point that out. Moving on, Howard purchased, it's missing these little metal tabs here, which doesn't really affect anything except maybe keeping dust and dirt from maybe getting up in there. I don't know. But he had two of these that were a little surface rust, but yet I think they were new. So I'm using one of those. I sandblasted it and gave it a shot of paint. There again, later on when it's all assembled, I'm going to clear them if I ever get them together. And another little detail is, I did take notice on Howard's two disc brake cores. They had the bolts in them, and they had this style of lock washer. I always call them the ninja type lock washer because they have little jagged edges on the inside of these. Whereas all my other cores off my vehicle and off the original cores, the original assembly on Howard has the lock washers, which I prefer. But just pointing that out, they're real diehard individuals that, you know, why did some have that different style washer, which no one will ever see on the vehicle. An issue I'm running into right now, see if you can help me with this puzzle. Yes, the front disc brakes on these are, in my opinion, a little bit complicated. So, but I have the great fortune of having an extra Avanti that I can use as a reference. So there's the original front caliper assembly to the Howard to go by. Here's the issue I'm having right now. I ordered these from Studebaker International, good people and everything. Of course, I've already painted them. For some reason, the blue fitting on one end will not screw in any one of these 8 holes. I even took out the bleeder screws. But the red fitting on the other end will screw into them. Nice and easy. And I always recommend you don't ever force a thread. If it doesn't go more than a couple turns, you better take it real easy. It just won't take. So I talked to Corey from the Studebaker International. They looked and checked their lines and see if they screw into their cores. So I'm shipping these out today to Studebaker International. And I told them just send them back to me and would figure out why I can't get these 2 fittings to screw in any one of these holes. It's baffling. And they look like they're in good condition. They don't really look like they're different type thread, metric or as opposed to American thread. So I just got everything all ready to go to start putting the front brakes and rotors back on, and I'm going to repack the bearings. So I'm going to run down the post office and get them out. This alternator bracket assembly is a little bit out of the norm of most vehicles. I think I got her set up right before I put anything together. The alternator is in nice condition. It was replaced not long ago by someone. And there you go, the bolts are all in place. And then once I get all bolts tightened down, then I use my Mason black paint. I put it into a jar, got a little brush. Now I'll go back over and paint my nuts and bolts very carefully. I sent my calipers back to Studebaker International to see if they can resolve why my fittings won't screw into the caliper issue. So that's going to be a few days getting there and getting a response from them. So I'm going to move on to maybe do the work on my headlights. See how nice that is, huh? Ooh, there she is. I noticed in the factory, when they build them, they had some kind of a caulk, as I recall, or a spooge around here. And this would squish it in. You tighten it down, but I don't want to caulk it and do that. So I'm going to make a rubber gasket. Right here. Already pre-measured. It's 5 1/4 from here to here, 8 inches from there to there. And I have to work on these little funky bumpy things here. Okay, so we're going to go. I have a piece of rubber that I've been saving. A lot of times inner tube rubber comes in handy for making gaskets. And I think I have a piece of black rubber. Another thing I want to point out is, I found this of interest. See this? I know it's one of the buckets. The other one's just plain. And this one says TUFLOT something. Looks like Youngstown. Galvanized. DRA something. It's punched out. Quality. 1.25 ounces. CTS. Isn't that interesting? It's like a big sheet and they stamp these out. I wonder if there's other Avantis that have this on their vehicles. Someday I got to acquire the proper tool for drawing what is to be a circumference. But writers sometimes look for different things that are 6 too much. 8. What's this one here? 5. We could cheese a little bit. That's way too small. What's this thing here? Ooh, 5 and an 8. Okay, there's one. Then I need another one.
I find something that's 8 inches or pretty close.
Seven and a half. Running out of choices. Okay.
Ooh, almost 8 inches. It's a little out of round. One of the ones the X threw at me.
Okay.
Good.
I've been saving this piece of rubber. So it's going to be just the right. Enough to get 2 pieces out of. Went all the way around. 1/16 less than 1.5. And this is March 21st, my son's 20th birthday. No longer a teenager. I love you, son. But sometimes I love to kill you. When my son was born, I painted this 57 Chevy hood sign. But it's a boy. And then my neighbor next door on the right, Cliff, his son was born. We put it in front of his house. Then Fred, the Hemi guy, when his son was born, we put it out in front of his house. So then when my son turned 13, I put it back out by the horse chestnut tree and put 13 years on it. The rest of that 57 Chevy, my brother buried it because he was kind of trying to build a bridge on the farm, minus engine and transmission. We buried that in a 66 Mustang, which actually was an okay car, 6-cylinder, a little rusty, and a 61 Ford Econoline pickup. I got a hole punch. I have one here somewhere. Nobody, don't tell everybody I did that like that. This is a nice punch on a piece of oak. Should got these little scissors in the first place, but I got all anxious. Ooh, almost perfect. All right. My rubber gasket idea, I think, worked out well. And boy, I shall never look this good again once the dirt and gravel gets flinging up in here. But looks pretty good. My turn signals were in fair condition. I sandblasted them real good inside and out. Cleaned them up, wire brushed them. I didn't care for this, how they're just loosely, not woven or anything. So I didn't like that inside the fender well. I mean, that meaning that dirt and water can get on them, and so I'm going to modify it. Yes, I'm taping them both up real good to kind of protect the wires. They originally had some type of cork bonded or glued to the back side of these as kind of a sealer. They're pretty bad shape, so I sandblasted what was left of them off, and I made these nice little rubber gaskets, again, out of inner tubes. Work pretty good. So I'm ready to put them back together. I'm really impressed by the Avanti headlight rings. Man, they have some nice heft there, man, on some good stuff. This one of them has a little bit, you can't see it on the film, but a little bit of pitting, not bad. The other ones, boy, they shine nice, look good, but this one here is a little more of a detail. See those? But fortunately, the one George's Avanti in the woods has one ring on it, and it was really as good as this one here, if not a little better. But I've already put it on the vehicle, so I'm going to leave this original one out that I had. And I did buy two new headlights. These are supposed to be, well, I don't know what kind they are, but they're very bright. And try to get home before dark when you're out with your collector vehicle so you don't hit deer. So, but it's nice to have some good headlights. Some of the old original ones are still good. And for the real purist, if you aren't aware of it, if you find old headlights, it's hard to find ones that are really original ones, early ones. I'm not sure if that happens to be one of those, but I can use that in my older pickup, my old Ford. I want to clean your Avanti trunk carpet and hang it by the wood stove to dry. My carpet is looking wonderful. Here's yet another Avanti puzzle. I got this side pretty much is complete. My original, this is off of mine, did have a break down here. And my lens I showed you earlier had a plastic lens. So fortunately, George's Avanti in the woods, both of the cover glass lenses were with that, so I was able to use one from that. So I'm excited about this here. But unbelievable how these rings. I thought they were one lens on the left and right are different, and so aren't the rings. And first I thought the rings were all bent when I took them off. Look how but that's the way they were designed. I can't see it too good, but see how that. But same with the lens. There's a left and a right, and then they aren't. Then they still on top of that, they aren't like flat. I got to be so careful of this to drop it. But you can't see how. Look how they're out around and also concaved, or whatever you want to call it. So I understand that Lowy and his team, they say they designed the car in like so many weeks, but was that just the style of the car? Because who's the individuals they had to try to do the engineering to mold, to get these to fit the surface of the concave of the vehicle. So this car has so much. I wonder who the engineers were on some of these other aspects. As with the ring, the lenses, there's only one position that they will go on there, so there's no messing that up. I'm so afraid of dropping this thing. There she is, but that's the only position out of the 4 choices you have. It will not go on any other way. This ring is pretty good condition, but there again, I've got so used to handling it here. There's only one way they'll go on like that, and then it still has a little gap here. I'm not sure if this one might be just bent a little bit. I hate to try to straighten it. And then the other side's the same way. It has a pretty good a little bend in the other one too. I'm pretty sure that's the way it was from the design. And mine is missing one of these little clips, and also one of the screws when I took it apart. So that means I got to make another trip down to George's car in the woods, and I know that has them on them. Fortunately, somebody left them on the vehicle. So I got to go down and borrow a clip off it. Poor George's Avanti. These are the rubber gaskets around the lens. These are original ones off my Avanti. Kind of rough shape, but I'm going to still save them in my Avanti archives, because those are original. And I ordered 2 new ones through Studebaker International. Nice and all. I put them on. But then I was going through George's Avanti in the woods inventory, and he had 2 brand new ones in there he bought for it. And why I like this is they already have pre-punched holes, so I don't know where he bought these. See that? So that makes it a lot nicer when I get ready to put things back. You see, it's got the holes already in it. I'm using his. We'll just save these ones I bought. I'll put those with his car. And they're brand new, but I had to clean them up. They'd been sitting in the car for years. So I like that. That makes it a lot nicer. The holes are already punched. I did see a YouTube where some guy had to pre-punch the holes, and that's where I thought that would be the route I was going to be taking. So I was excited to find these, George. Thank you. We're going to use them on my car. My Studebaker had this crappy aftermarket black one on there. I'll discard that. And the other side, this very well might be the original. I will save this. But the Studebaker International, they did the replacement ones, look almost identical to the one that was on it, which might be the original. See, this is flat here, so this is a little bit rounded. I only have one of these, so I am going to save that, but I replaced them with the aftermarket ones, wherever they came from. It was a radical design when they came up with this hump idea here on the body and also on the hood. That was kind of a different design and look, which I think looks pretty cool. The one thing I think they overlooked or didn't think about, though, is I don't like the way the wiper, because of this hump in the windshield, as you can see how that chrome piece, how it humps up on the windshield too. the wiper doesn't really fit down nice. I don't like that when I drive it. So they should have designed this with a little bit of a bend or something here for the driver's side, because it just doesn't look right, and it obstructs the view and appearance, in my opinion. And there again, maybe somebody out there's got some answers to that, but seems like they should have designed the driver's wiper a little different from the passenger side. Columbo here, a couple more things. Using George's gaskets, it still takes a little bit of finesse to get these on. You kind of work them and try to get it in line. See, I'm off a little bit, and this should be over. Try to get over a little bit more. Want that circle right. Just hit the timer thing. Okay. There, so you got it. And you got to walk it around. Be careful, don't drop it on the floor. And I really razzle-dazzle the perfectionist out there. The bottom of the lenses, right or left. You always know when you see the numbers on the bottom here, that's looking right straight at the car. So that's always on the bottom. And then where the rubbers are joined from where they're made, if you can see this here, yeah. This is where it's bonded together right here. They vulcanize it. That's all the thing. When we start getting nice on the bottom, see, then no one really have to see it. It makes it look more complete all the way around. That's if you really want to razzle-dazzle the real perfectionist. And there is one more little thing. I'll get off of this. I was cleaning the underside of this fender. This little thing kind of fell down onto the floor. And thinking of it, I thought, oh, it looks like a shrunken cigarette butt, you know. So, and I moved on and went to the other side, and I was cleaning under there, and then I see that. I see that. Only it was like stuck in from the back side. You can see how the one side is kind of pointed. In other words, stuck in from the back side, so I didn't really see it when in the first place. I was going to stand it up there. But anyhow, that's where it is. And then I didn't quite, so by the time I thought, well, I better save these, you know, I don't know what they're about. I already lost one, that was too bad. And then more I studied up on it, I go, well, geez, it seems like if there was moisture in here, or it got wet, or the gasket leaked, it could drain out, you know. And I did see a reference to these somewhere. Some guy said something about them, but I didn't really get the gist of it. So you know what? But I am saving that. I bet you there aren't too many guys that have one of those. They do kind of stay in there good. So I'm not going to put something like that back in there. I'd rather go with my theory that it needs to drain. I bet you these are really rare. It's for sale, $100. But I'm going to save it. And maybe somebody could tell us the rest of the story, what that was about. I thought maybe it might have been a plug and why they were developing the fiberglass, and maybe they forgot to take them out because that's what that drain's for. That's my kind of theory. But I'm sure somebody already is on to that, right? Finally, Columbo, are you done? One more thing. I don't like this one. I'm pretty sure these rings I got aren't bent, though that is broke down there. That's the way it's supposed to be. They both dip in, but I just don't like the way the rubber fits. See it come around here like that? See that? Oh, see how it drops in there? There you go. I think maybe some moisture can get in there. Not that they were thinking of that at the time. So I wish that when they made these reproductions of these, they should put a little bit more lip on them so they actually could lay. You know I'm getting that, right? I'm about to scratch my car up. See that? They should put a little more lip on them. See, look at that. That nice? See if they did a little, darn it. Plus that's not too good. But that's the way it's going to be. I got to mix up some clear pretty soon. So I thought maybe it's time to check out these wire shrouds. I thought they were silver. Then they look like a gold overspray from my paint, but these weren't on the car, so that's out. So then a little closer examination, see how it's peeling off. The gold kind of comes off. So they were silver under the original from the build. And then what it was a clear. See on what side there? See it there. See that? The dual color. See, it was like it's like a clear. Either they sprayed it and it drizzled down on the inside there. I already got some colors thought out for those. Silverish. Here's the other side. I took the bolts off. I go, that doesn't look right. I'm pretty sure it is an original. I took the other side out, and I can't see it that good. It just looked like a rusty old fender bolt, we'll call them. Then I clean it up anyhow, because I use those sometimes. And I kind of started cleaning up on the wire brush grind. Look at it, it's got a brass washer. Isn't that weird? I've done a lot of wrenching. I don't know whatever I've ever seen a brass washer. What would they have used that for? Somebody can get out of that. I'm going to save that. I like it. It's not going back on the car. I'm going to check on those bolts on the other bank and maybe the one on George's car. And let's see here. Get it cleaned up pretty good. It's got a little freaking tweak. See that? Bump, bump. It's got one over here. And I go, oh no. So it's got a little bend in here. See it? Now you can't, but I can feel it right there. And what I got to think, oh, here we go. Down at Goober and Gomer's garage, when they took the engine out, kind of looks like to me that they must have hooked onto this and up bending it. See what I mean? And then, because leave it on here, Gomer. And then, look, I put the thing back together. They lost the bolts, like other things I found. Motor mount bolt missing. See, so but that's okay. I'm gonna try to straighten that up. I got a nice color for a silverish blue color. Tell you about that a little bit. Should do that first place, right? These are the rear axle bumpers. They're going to sandblast them, paint them. I will clear these because they have some mixed up. So we're going to clean up these rubbers. And there again, looks like it's got like a some heavy black paint on it yet. And it wasn't from me. It was prior. Meaning Studebaker did spray. I did give them a quick spray up. I can see how they're just dig off what I can. See? Clean it up like that. Ooh, see something's coming right out. This sticks out pretty good. Over there. Ooh, yeah. See, there's even some of that primer. The original, that thick primer I talked about on the Studebakers. They just learned to give it a quick primer and a quick black. These were on the vehicle when they painted it. The frame. All right. Then we're going to clean them up.